Thank you. Yeah, welcome everyone to ACDT. We're gonna be starting off with Holski updates today. So we had the Holski fork last week, Wednesday. Other than one hiccup that we noticed on the first day, where it seems very likely that it was related to operator error or having too many validator keys on one node. We haven't necessarily noticed anything else on Holski. We should have BPO1 go live tomorrow. But in the meantime, there was still 2 points I wanted to sort of dig a bit deeper into. We did notice a slightly higher reorg rate on Lighthouse nodes. Has the team looked into this already? Is there anything to report or a pre-release we can try?
Uh, I think we have looked into it, and in the subsequent release, we will be releasing a fix for that as well. We had like a bunch of issues where we were processing more uh, attestation slashings than we needed to. So we have fixed that uh, in our latest unstable code, and we should be cutting another release sometime this week or the next.
Awesome. That sounds good. Thank you for the update. There was another, I guess, unrelated incident, but still a testnet incident about a Nethermind bug. Does someone want to go through what happened as well as if the patch is ready to be tested by more people? I see Lucas on the call. Do you want to talk? Okay. I guess not. If that's the case, then the information can be found on the testnets channel that I'm linking here. It's on Discord. Both the bug as well as the potential patch and the plan forward are all listed in the chat there. Anything else related to Fusaka and Holski that client teams want to talk about? Is everyone feeling ready with BPO1? It should be roughly a day from today, right?
I had a
Yeah,
question about
11 hours. Go
uh,
ahead.
had a question about something that the OP stack team brought up regarding the get blob side, the blob side with Fusaka. We have uh, basically the KZG proof that we used to give along with the blob sidecar pre Fusaka. Post Fusaka, we just stub out the KZG proof field, and that the OP stack team, I think they created an issue on our repo saying that the proof wasn't verifying. And I think there was a Discord thread about it, uh, where I think yeah, like if I check the thread now, the OP stack team said that they don't need the KZG proof to be there on the on that specific endpoint anymore, but I'm not sure if other roll-up teams agree as well. So maybe we can check if other teams need it or if we need to update the HTTP endpoint as well. I can link the Discord.
Yeah, could you link the thread? And just to clarify, is this for super nodes or is this for a full node? Because the get blob behavior for full nodes kind of fundamentally changes, right?
Yeah, I think this is for super nodes. So we basically, when anybody calls that HTTP endpoint, we reconstruct the full blob sidecar and return the blob sidecar, but we did not also compute the KZG proof because we thought it wasn't needed. But since since the rollup teams brought it up, maybe we need to just check with other teams as well. Oh yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
Jay just linked it.
Manu, do you want to go?
Yeah. So I briefly talked with Nitro team and Arbitrum, and they are going to switch from get blob sidecar to get blobs to the new endpoint.
Got it. But then there was also a comment about updating the attestant library, right, to support the new endpoint. Has this already been taken care of, or is this something we should do soon?
Mm.
Okay. I think we'll check up with the attestant team to add support for this so that, yeah, everyone should be ready. Are there any other L2s we should be reaching out to? Okay. I guess the least we should do is put out a statement saying that this is the change that's going to happen, and then see if anyone pushes back against the change. Since it is an API change, we can still, yeah, fix it if someone's depending on it. Okay. Anything else related to the API topic or for Holsky? Blackline did ask about head target vote rates dropping. Yeah, most of the thesis is just that the amount of work that supernodes have to do is significantly more than before. And once we have the Lighthouse patch as well, it should be better. Especially because, yeah, everyone's processing a lot of slashings right now. Okay, last call for Polsky. Any other topics?
I just wanted to confirm another point regarding the MEV flow. So uh, I think uh, the get payload API, like we were supposed to, like at least we were uh, using the get payload v2 version even before uh, Fusaka was activated, and we were doing that just to ensure that like if there was anything wrong uh, with the API, then like we can figure it out pre Fusaka instead of uh, switching to the v2 endpoint post Fusaka and then finding out just then. I was just curious, like I know that Nimbus replied saying that, I don't know, some clients replied saying that they switched during the fork. I'm not sure if the behavior is consistent across all CL clients or how other CL clients handle it. Do they switch to the V2 version right at the fork boundary, or do they use the V2 version before as well?
Prism thinks that they switch at the fork, but they will cross-check this. Do we have anyone else? Lodestar, yeah, fork boundary. Anyone from Teku?
Lighthouse basically uses the V2 endpoint now, like even before Fusaka, because like yeah, like that's the sort of the the relays don't actually return the blobs today as well, so we just don't expect the blobs at all. We just expect the relays to propagate the blobs themselves.
Should we make a thread for this on ETH-R&D?
I think there was a thread. I was trying to find it on the uh, chat. I'll paste it when I find it
Okay,
somewhere.
sounds good. I also don't see Bharat on the call, but I think he's mostly taking care of the MEV workflow, so he might have a better overview. But we can ask him to chime in on the chat there. Anything else? Oh yeah, just to raise Barnabas's point, most relays or builders have stopped support for Holsky. So we don't have any or many map blocks flowing on Holsky, but this shouldn't be the case on Sepolia and Hudi. There was a brief issue with the builders on Sepolia and Hudi that has now been fixed, and we should have steady MEV blocks again. Yeah, and another reminder that Polsky will officially be end of life at the end of the month, unless announced otherwise, or if we notice any issues, we want to keep it around for. Okay. Anything else regarding Holsky? Okay. Barnabas, do you want to give an update for Fusaka DevNet 3 and the non-finality testing last week? Okay. He's unable to talk, but yeah, we had non-finality testing for I think between 2 or 3 days. And since then, we have recovered. So if for some reason your client is not up to head, then please reach out to us and we can debug it. But I think we should be mostly fine. We did have plans to do another round of split network test this week with the chaos testing framework that the Sunnyside Lab team has. And we'll let you know how that goes. But yeah, I don't expect that we find anything because it is a similar approach. Okay. Anything else for Fusaka? Cool. And just to have it logged, we have a lot of data being showcased also for Holsky on the PandaOps website. So if you want to have a look at how the network is performing once BPO1 goes live, then please have a look there. It should be working through the BPO. Okay. Next topic is gas limits and scaling L1 in general. Do we have any updates about 60 million gas from Bezu?
Yes. So the implementation is almost done. We expect to freeze the implementation by tomorrow, and then we can start phasing and testing. But yeah, big progress we have seen, like around twice performance improvement on almost all the arithmetic opcodes on top of mod. Yeah, that's it for now.
Awesome. Thank you. Is there anything you need from any other client team or security team for the fuzzing, or are you guys all set?
Yes, we already reached out to them. So we have a private discussion on Telegram. Yeah, so we should start working on it on Wednesday.
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, Camille is off today, but he did leave a message about getting the first version of Zentas on top of BloatNet working at the end of last week. I see Carlos and Joachim on the call. Perhaps you guys have a bit more context and you want to talk about these tests.
Yes, we have progressed generally in stateful test on top of the BloatNet, and there are first Zen tests. Camille will have a great cooperation with Joachim on this. And in parallel, we are working on extended analysis of MODEX repricing on the network and especially on the application layer. We collected a lot of data and right now analyzing it. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, perfect. Is there any active item you guys need help on, or is the next step just continuing with the test, trying to break things and then see if we need to fix something that's broken?
Yes, that's like you said, we need to continue what we are doing right now.
Okay, perfect. Do you have anything to add to that, Carlos, for state tests, or is that mostly the meat of the work over the last week?
So we have done quite some progress. The work of this week is to agree with East in order of which is the best way to orchestrate all of that, because we need to adapt, let's say, how the framework from Nethermind works and how East executes stateful tests. So that will probably be the work of this week, and let's see where we can get at.
Yep, I know we already have a scheduled call for that, so we should be able to sort that out this week. And is there anything else for the scaling topic that we have to talk about? Gas scaling. Okay. The next topic is in Glamsterdam. Could we get an update from block level access lists? How's everything going? Local testing?
I can provide a quick update around specs stuff. So today we just merged the execution API specs. Thanks to Mikhail for reviewing that. Let me post the link into the chat. From the execution spec side, everything is done. So we have been ironing out some bugs last week, mainly around complicated edge cases such as 7702 or reverted transactions. But so far it looks quite good. So from the spec side, we're done. Maybe someone who is more involved in testing, maybe Rahul or Felipe, can provide an update on testing later. There is the block level access list up breakout call happening on Wednesday this week. Yeah, feel free to show up. We will discuss client updates and also finalizing a decision on block level access list hash versus block level access list root.
Thank you. Rahul, are you on the call? Do you want to speak? I don't see you right now.
I can add an update here as well.
Yeah.
The testing side's looking good. We had one test that was reported to have been not correct that we fixed, and then we have had a few more that were added last week, and we have an open PR to add a few more that should be ready early this week as well, and we plan to get another release out. And I wanted to say Reth was added to the tracker as well, and it looks like Reth and Geth are passing most of the tests that we have currently, so it's looking good.
Awesome, thank you. I do notice that so we have a kurtosis config also on the spec sheet for the DevNet. Has anyone already tried interop between get and rect, or is that the next milestone? I'm gonna assume that's then the next milestone, and then yeah, we can go from there. And just to also say it out loud, once we have 3 ELs working, then we're ready to launch a block level access list DevNet. So hopefully that's incentive for the next EL to join in.
Yeah, I also think Nethermind is pretty close. As far as I know, locally, they were running tests and passing a lot of them, but we haven't been able to get the right config for Nethermind on Hive yet. And I do believe somebody's looking into it, but I need a little bit more context. I haven't had the right config to be able to run it.
Yeah, I'm having a look into this now. So yeah, it might be like a Hive config issue or something with our Hive test runner potentially, but yeah, hopefully it'll be resolved soon.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Sounds great.
There was also a ask from Barnabas that would really help with our automation tools on all of your client repositories on your main repository. So ideally not a fork. Could you guys push the code onto a branch called BAL DevNet 0 so that we can set up all of our auto builders, and Hive will pick up the changes and Kurtosis will pick up the changes and so on. It becomes a lot easier for us to automate testing if we have a standardized naming scheme and a standard place on where to look for changes. Okay. Cool. I guess we'll follow up on that one later. And yeah, one of the easiest things for us to also do would be to have Asserter run the execution spec tests against the running local block level access list DevNet, and that should already knock out a few bugs. That sounds all very good. Nice work, everyone. Anything else for block level access lists? Anything that we should discuss today that might help? Are there any immediate blockers? Okay. The next topic we have is EPBS. Can we get an update from anyone on EPBS?
I think it'd be better if client teams gave an update. I'm not sure what the implementation status for DevNet 0 is, but I just know they're working on that. And we will have a breakout call this Friday. Please comment if there's anything you'd like to discuss. There were some things at Awkward Dev that we talked about. What was it? Whether or not to allow like trusted payments and all that kind of stuff. It's a bit undecided, but I feel like we're sort of working, or we're sort of on the same page now. But we do need to hash out details.
Perfect. Is this Friday this week?
Yes.
Okay. And is this call meant just for client teams or also external teams that we should make sure to invite?
Whoever wants to join, external is fine.
Okay, cool. Then if anyone's listening in and has an opinion on trusted payments, then please chime in. I'm not sure if any client teams have implementation updates though, or is the idea that we work on the spec first and then there'll be alpha implementations?
The spec is ready, I think. They're just working on the implementations. Or are you talking about for trusted payments?
No, just for in general EPBS.
Okay. Yeah, spec for DevNet 0 is ready.
Okay. Then we probably have a spec sheet for, okay, cool. We have a spec sheet for EPBS DevNet 0. I would assume we just have to update the values there. Cool. And ideally, same rule. So please have a branch on your main repository called EPBS DevNet 0 so that we can automate some building and image pulling. There was one other topic on the agenda relating to our PCs. It's more of an info task. So we're posting Hive RPC pass fail rates on Discord now. So there's a weekly post. We're going to update it to also showcase if your client has done better or worse with RPC tests over the last week. In case you want to be notified when an update is pushed here, then please let us know. We have a new role that we can add people and you'd get a bit, you get a notification when there's something. And there's also an ETH research post about having a lot more tests and a lot more focus on application focused tests for the RPC. So please engage with both of the topics. Okay, anything else for the call today? If not, then
We could
yeah,
bring up
go
the
ahead.
questions again. Barath is in the call. No.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, Pawan, do you want to bring up the topic again so that Bharat has context?
I think I've linked Bharat's reply there for basically for the get payload v2 endpoint. Lighthouse starts using it before the Fusaka fork, but some other clients also basically switch at the fork boundary. So I was wondering if the spec clearly specifies what is the right thing to do there. We do it before the fork because we wanted to see if there was anything if there was an issue with the endpoint, then we figure out before Fusaka instead of just at the fork boundary. So like if there is a right way to do it, then like we'd rather switch to it, but we just wanted to check if there is a spec mandated way of doing it. Should we switch at the fork boundary or before is fine as well?
Yeah, so I can chip into this. So ideally, it is not fork dependent at all, this API. Like you can use it in Electra, you can use it in any fork. It doesn't matter. The only issue here is that when we hit mainnet, we need to ensure that all relays like have implemented it. And that is generally like, because the thing is like the EF, like we don't control, the relays are closed source. We have informed them like multiple times on the criticality of implementing like get payload API, get payload v2. So that's probably the only thing, right? It's in their best interest to implement it. But again, so I personally would recommend to like use it like after Fusaka. At least it's not fork dependent, but I would recommend to use it after Fusaka so that because we have informed them that okay, you have to get it implemented by Fusaka. So right, the worst thing that'll happen is like that the API will fail, but yeah, like I would recommend it to like use it like after Fusaka. It'll probably be safer, like because I'm unsure, right? If you let's say you do it on Electra, like uh it should be fine. But maybe if you like release that code like before if you have a release before this thing, what is that? Fusaka and the relay has not implemented it, it might impact that. So that's probably my only concern. Like outside that API is not really fork dependent. My only concern is like whether the relays have implemented it or not, and we have given them like information that you have to at least implement this by Fusaka. So that is like just like using that post Fusaka, it just seems like the safest way. Like
Yeah, okay. And yeah, Pawan's argument also makes sense just to keep it easier to debug. Could we just have a list on Discord for how every client's implementing it so that we can just do it consistently? Could you maybe make a list, Bharat, and then we can go
Yeah,
from
I
there?
can do that. I can do that. Yeah, sounds good.
Oh, cool. Anything else we want to discuss today? Okay, then thank you everyone for coming and see you next week.
Thank you.